Rolling.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm having a kombucha. Jay is having a cider.
I like how light that is. Like it's not super appley.
Because of the rosemary and grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
Is it an additive or is it a hops? Because there is hopped cider.
You think that's a hopped cider?
Oh, Cicerone. Oh, I did kind of. There's Cicerone training.
You're gonna
This
do
is
it?
Yeah. I told Matt he brought it up, and I was like,
Yes.
it's 9:30 a.m.
Yes.
on Thursdays.
Yes. When does
Nine
it start?
the same day that I'm working Thursday during
Game day.
game day. Because there's a party that night,
That's a long
socializing.
day.
Sunny mentioned Jess might go. She's like, yeah, I've got an appointment in Tacoma. So we're
Oh.
podcasting live, recorded. I'm Skull. This is Jay.
Mhm.
It is summer solstice, June 21st. 12:08 a.m. So it's barely past that AM PM thing. And we're podcasting live, recorded, Republic Today, republictoday.net. It's not up and running now, but we're gonna put these up on YouTube. We're gonna keep posting.
They'll go up on
There's been some
republictoday.net.
glitches. Oh, there is a republictoday.net YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. This podcast is brought to you by drinking and weed. We've got
Roast.
crossed up. We're getting crossfaded because we're XXX straight edge, the new era straight edge. We don't do fentanyl. That's basically straight edge in America these days, not doing fentanyl. Okay, so
That got
it
dark.
got dark. It got dark fast. Ironically, because it's the equinox, what that means it's the longest day of the year today.
So it's about to
Today.
get dark fast.
But was it light till 10:30 at night here in the PN Dub? We're podcasting live from the Pacific Northwest part of the United States of America. Was it light until 10:30 tonight? I don't think it was. It was like
It's
dark at like 9.
Yeah. So it was still a little bit light at like 9:30.
Okay.
But I think it faded fast.
That's not like crazy
Yeah.
long days. Was it longer earlier this summer?
This summer? No.
No. Okay. This is my first summer in the Pacific Northwest. What have we been talking about tonight? We were talking about like skin tone stuff. We were talking about moon calendars. So Mitch is gonna grab their notes. Mitch, I keep using your name. Seriously, by episode 10, it's gonna be Skull and Jay exclusively.
I'm not naked.
There's a big TV in the background for you guys who are watching on the video, but I guess more people watch videos than listen to audio. But I'm an audio person, so this is more, the pace is better, the content feels more thought out.
I'm going to interrupt this program with an important question. Was it MTV's or VH1's pop-up video? Do you know?
I think it was VH1 actually. That was a good show though. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. That was very important.
Hey listeners, if you want to watch a music video, there's a artist named Mer. It's M with an O with a slash through it. And
A little bit appropriative.
She has a song called Kamikaze, and the video is fun.
So yeah, back to the topic from the notes here. This is what I interpreted when Skull was explaining like, oh, we could do this for the podcast. And this is what I wrote down. Skin stuff, period. Non-white Mediterranean identity. And the next note, healthy to talk about racial stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean you brought that up. There's a cat here too. You're in or out, cat. And your tail's not allowed. I think that, okay, I don't mean to say I think that. Edit that out. Okay, the producers got it. They're gonna edit that out. Look, we assume that we're anti-racist. Not just not racist, but anti-racist. I'm I'm open to conversations about affirmative action. None of this stuff is up to me. Like, I'm a waiter. Like but I do think that it makes sense for there to be some place for some kind of affirmative action in our society. I think that we being Americans have a terrible history of racism and white supremacy, and like that's why I don't want to identify as white, because of that horrible history. And it's easier for me to do that because like maybe I have some less whitish physical features and perhaps geography, whereas like you have no, like, I don't, like you were born in Europe, and not in like Greece or Italy or something, but like your dad's like, I'm from Holland, I'm discriminated against because I'm not 6 feet tall, you know like that's some white ass shit. Whereas like other non-white people are short. Anyway, I've been on height privilege and stuff in recent times, listeners, just so y'all know. And I can just keep going and not let Jay like get a word in. But um yeah, let Jay can smile at the camera. And because we're doing this on the YouTube, because that's the most prominent platform still right now, actually. But check us out on TikTok, check us out on Instagram, check us out on Vine, check us out on Twitter, check us out on Snapchat, check us out on Periscope, check us out on WhatsApp, check us out on Telegram, check us out on Tumblr, check us out on what else we got? Elo. We're on Elo, we're on Disney Plus. Like and subscribe, Disney Plus, Apple Music,
Okay,
Stitcher,
going
Spotify, uh, you know, I mean,
yeah.
oh yeah, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, yeah, Word, Friendster, MySpace,
PayPal.
WordPress.
You can Venmo us.
I do have like a pretty thorough Etsy. Like Etsy is a place if you want to like, donate, subscribe.
Hobby website. I don't know.
We
Whatever.
both are active on OnlyFans, TBH. So there is that. After all that, see, that's some funny shit. Well, so like I don't know, like skin. Like, can we talk about? I have a different level of what is it, melanin than Jay.
Yeah.
We have different skin color.
Yeah. Okay, let's show the audio.
So we're looking, if you're on youtube.com, you can't see shit on this shit. It's grainy. It's grainy. We've got a light.
Difference. The way that the light is different right there.
How okay. So we're playing with the light.
Okay, my
This is
head's there.
visual comedy. When we get Audacity going, we'll put a laugh track here and there. Because I want to be able to like dun, 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 bah. Matt did it, he does it every week, every Wednesday. Bam, 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 bam. Like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, man, Beethoven's Fifth, you know. Anyway, thank you for listening to this podcast. Republic Today, republictoday.net.
Back it
We're
up.
wrapping it up. Wrap it up.
Okay.
No, say something.
On our next.
Well,
episode.
okay, there's basketball updates. Draft is tomorrow.
Next up we have basketball updates, and Mitch chimes in about skin and anti-racist related topic.
Okay, we're gonna have our producer pause for a moment. Okay, we're back. Jay, you were gonna share some thoughts about racial things. Please go.
Why is that the first one? Okay, I just want to say that I think a lot about my adjacency or identity with saying that I am anti-racist. I think that there's a lot of like thought and care and I don't know, some sense of like justice that goes into like having that identity or like label. And I think it should be so. I think it shouldn't be like thoughtless. I don't think that we're enveloped in such a culture that we can like be thoughtless about it, that because that's not our like regular practice. Like amongst the majority of our society, a lot of people are racist. Even if they like, yeah, they're mostly like not racist, sometimes they'll have like these microaggressions that like they think is right and just for like how privileged they are. But that might not be the case for other people.
I don't know, like people who identify as not being, so we're talking about white people, right?
White people
So white people who identify as not being racist.
or anti-racist. Either way.
Well, I think it's different.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't let you finish your sentence.
Well,
People who claim white people who claim to be not racist. Go ahead.
white people who claim to be not racist, but then have like microaggression things.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, or who vote Republican, and
Yes.
or who, or like whatever, have some, so because back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, it would be like, have you ever laughed at a racist joke? Anybody, like, yeah, I have laughed at a racist joke,
Right.
not because I was like feeling empowered by racial superiority or some shit like that. It's like there's a play on words or something,
Right.
and then
Yes.
later on, it became apparent that, okay, this is still damaging and offensive and whatever. And because, like, I would laugh at racist jokes and be like, well, but I'm friends with these black people or whatever, and sometimes I would share in that racist humor with black friends,
Okay.
And it's like maybe there's tension there, maybe like I don't,
Okay, may I interrupt again? Am
you're
I
not
allowed?
interrupting.
Okay.
No, I'm interviewing
So I'm
you.
gonna
I'm
take
interviewing you right now about the solstice.
Okay, so on what you were just speaking of, I think for me that brings up like, and this is even like critiqued a little bit amongst like people of color or like people who like are very firmly placed as like anti-racist, where I've been in positions where like I am just hanging out with coworkers. Most of them are like women of color specifically, or like queer women of color. And like I will be like self-deprecative. Is that a word?
Sure.
I will self-deprecate myself, to say it another way that I know is correct, um, as a white person. Around them actively. And I think that there's part of that like, yeah, could be anti-racist, but it's also like very performative, or like it can be performative.
Yeah, what is the word? Virtue signaling.
Right.
Virtue signaling,
Like,
performative, right? But performative implies that it's not authentic. And you're saying it's authentic, and I trust that it's
yeah.
authentic,
Yeah. Yes.
So like it's authentic, so it's not performative, but it comes across that way or it feels that way.
To me, I just feel super sensitive, like after learning about that, like dynamics that could exist. Like, does that just become another like microaggression?
Well, I've got two things to say about it because
Okay.
we've talked about the service industry relationship with some of that within my personal practice or habits, right? I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast, but we've talked about it in person.
Yes.
So there's that element,
Uh-huh.
but then there's also the George W. Bush quote.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a two-time president. His
Right.
father was president.
Mhm.
His like uncles were senators. Like it's a huge nepotism. They go way back. The Prescott Bushes. Google that. Google. I try not to use those brand names. Search engine Prescott Bush, like political dynasties in America. By the way, listeners. But what we're talking about is the quote, the soft bigotry of low expectations. So setting like in service industry, I'll set the behavior bar lower for
Yes.
guests who are women or people of color.
Uh-huh.
White men get away with less.
Right. They have more privilege. They shouldn't be able to do
With
that.
me specifically, I'm
I
not saying
understand.
in restaurants in general
I
at all,
understand.
but with me specifically,
I hear
like,
that.
you know, so I've had a guy who's come in like a few weeks in a row now at Well Lady on Wednesday nights. So like tonight. And he's like African American guy, dark skin, the whole, not. I had a table last night where it was African American guy with red hair, like, skin darker than mine, but like not like dark black, and red hair, freckles, you know.
Mhm.
It was different, but like, so those guys didn't look alike at all, but they were both black guys. They were both African American. Anyway, this one guy who I've had as a regular, he comes in wearing full fatigues, camo,
Uh-oh.
boots, the whole thing.
Like he's coming from the fucking base.
And he gets the 16-ounce can that's $4. So that's like the value
The
choice.
$4 Chuck.
It's 3 magnets. It's not even Well 80, it's 3
Oh.
magnets cans, you know.
Brewery now.
But it's like you save a couple bucks or
Anyway,
whatever.
yes.
And
Tell me more about this thing.
fish went out of business. So like he's nice to play, it's cool, it's all good. And like the party he was with, this dude, like he tipped me extra cash tonight. He's like, I want to give you more cash. And he's like, he's wearing like shorts, gym shorts, flip-flops, white guy, big long beard, feet everywhere, whatever.
Ooh.
But
Feet everywhere.
and he's not even like super friendly or whatever, but like I try to take care of all my guests the same. And so like that was their party, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I do give like I said, if that dude, and he was separate, it was him and his party before their fourth guest, the African American gentleman in the full army fucking ready to go to combat outfit.
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting thing about those things in different ways because I would, a bunch of again a bunch of white people now, working class looking white people can get away with more than rich looking white people with me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
I get that.
and
I get
again,
that.
and the one time I've had a bad time, it was with a short guy, and he's a short brown man, but he's a fucking dick all the time.
Right.
So like, fuck
Some
that guy.
tech guy, probably.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm
He's a townie.
stereotyping.
He's a townie. He's a townie. He's an Olympia townie guy. Anyway, is it time to wrap it up?
Yeah.
We're not even in the Pacific
Will you
Northwest.
wrap us up?
I would like you to. Can you? Well, because
And to wrap us up, next time we will continue discussing racial stuff. And maybe one of these days we're gonna talk
basketball
about
update. The draft is tomorrow.
we're gonna talk about that for sure. Maybe tomorrow. But the other thing that I would like to bring up eventually, which you can hear this, but we're not gonna get to it maybe till an episode or two later. The concept of body neutrality. Think about it. I don't know. What does it mean to you? Put it in the comments below.
Like and subscribe. Spotify.
all the ones that we
Friendster.
listed earlier. All right, I am signing off. See ya.
Tinder.